Hi, I'm Gary May, and this is Made to Persuade. Now, I'm going to ask you a quick question. Are you utterly sick and tired of chasing those same prospects time and time and time again? You know the ones, you went to see them 12 weeks ago. You had a good conversation with them over the phone, or you met them face to face. And 12 weeks ago, they said to you, do you know what, Gary? Absolutely love what you've done, love the product, love the price, but just give us a week and we'll get back to you with a decision. You've gone back to the office, you've told everyone what a fantastic meeting. However, 12 weeks later, their names keep coming up on your prospect list. And every single Monday, you're picking up the phone, talking to the receptionist, giving them the same name, the same company, the same what it's regarding, asking for the same person, only to be told that, guess what? They're still on holiday, they're still in a meeting, or they've just popped out for lunch. Can you tell that I've kind of been through this myself? It is so frustrating. Now, what I want to do is to share my secret with you on how I got my prospects to call me. I didn't have to call them. When I got to this situation, I expected and got them to call me. That's what we're going to discover in the rest of this video. Okay, so the situation that you're in is that you're having to chase prospects time and time again. So much so that you probably feel a little bit embarrassed about having to pick up the phone now, and you've got this nagging feeling that you're chasing a lost cause. Yeah? So I've got a question for you. Have you given the prospect enough information for them to make a purchasing decision from you and your company? Have you given them a full proposal? What about a return on investment calculator? What about brochures? What about product information? What about transparent pricing? What about T's and C's? Have you given them everything they need in order for them to make a purchasing decision from you and your company if they wanted to? Yeah? Great. Because that's the reason they're not getting back to you. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's exactly the reason they are not getting back to you. Think of it. They set out with a goal. The goal was to get some information, to get some pricing, and to find companies that could provide them with a solution to their current problem, if they even knew they had one. Once you've given them everything they need, they don't need you anymore. Get it? They don't need you. Now, instead of working on your time frame, they will now resort to theirs. In reality, it's your fault. You've given them everything they need, therefore they don't need you, and they can now resort to their own time frame. They will get round to it as and when they want to or need to, because they have all the information they require. Up until that point, if they needed something, they probably would have called you, or they would have sent you an email. But now you've given them everything, they don't need you anymore. That's the reason they're not getting back to you, and that's the reason why you cannot get hold of them. To put this into a different context, let's think of a social environment. Gary, have you done the dishwasher yet? No, I'm watching the football. Gary, have you done the dishwasher yet? No, it's in the second half, it'll be about 45 minutes. Gary, have you done the dishwasher yet? Look, I said I will get round to it as and when I can. Gary, have you done the dish? Oh my God, oh my God. If any of you have had that situation, then you'll know exactly where I'm coming from, and I hope you got some empathy for me. By the way, this is not my real life, but hey. So, in the first time that someone says, Gary, have you done the dishwasher? Thanks for reminding me, brilliant. That's what your brain says. The second time, oh yeah, got it first time, but thanks for the second reminder. The third time, you start to get a little bit annoyed, don't you? Okay, you've told me twice, you don't need to tell me again. What about number 4 times, or the 4th time? If they ask me one more time, and now if they ask you a 5th time, something takes over. Spitefulness. I hate to say it, but it's true. There are numerous occasions where you or I might have done this. On the 5th time of asking, have you done the dishwasher yet? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it now because they've asked me one too many times, and out of spite, do you know what? I'm not going to do it now. Could that be happening to your prospects? over the 12 weeks that you've been chasing them, and every Monday you've got on the phone, you made a decision yet? 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 If they ask me one more time if I've made my bloody decision, then I'm not going with them. Guess what you do? Made a decision yet? No. Wrong. But this is how traditional sales has told us to act. Prospecting every week, just going through your prospect list, chasing. Your managers are chasing you down. How's that getting on? Where's it got to? Have you contacted them yet? Yeah, you know I've been in this situation. Okay, so what do we need to do to change this situation? Well, I've actually used the word, and that is change. In order for you to now get the prospect to contact you, you need to change the original offering. Okay, so before I describe what needs to change, I do need to introduce you to a couple of female psychologists of the 1920s. Both studied at Berlin University and under the tutorage of a famous psychologist, Professor Kirk Lewin. Now, the first one is born with Zeigarnik. And Zeigarnik and Lewin were in a cafe, and Lewin made a comment to Zeigarnik about the waiters and waitresses. Now, what he was recognizing was that a waiter and a waitress were able to recall with absolute accuracy orders from tables where the food had yet to be delivered, or they had yet to have paid. However, when asked to regurgitate or to give the information of tables that had been completed, i.e. their food had been delivered and they paid for their food, for some reason they couldn't recall what they originally ordered. Zeigarnik then went on to perform her own studies. She assembled a group of participants and she gave them all a puzzle to do. Now, halfway through that experiment, she interrupted half of the participants, allowing the other half to complete the task. Now, at a time in the future, she then got back to the participants and asked them what they remembered about the task or the puzzle that they were given. And do you know what? This astounded me. The people who were interrupted, i.e. they didn't complete the puzzle, were 90% better at regurgitating or giving information about what the puzzle was about, whereas the ones that had completed it were left alone couldn't remember details about the puzzle. Astounding. So what has that got to do with your proposal? Well, this then led on to what we now call in psychology the Zeigarnik effect. Now, the Zeigarnik effect is this: you are far more likely to remember something that is incomplete or unfinished, as opposed to something that your brain feels that is done and dusted, i.e. complete. Now, does that not resonate with you in relation to your prospects and your meetings and your proposals? They now have all the information that they feel they need. So now they don't need you. It's complete, it's done, it's dusted, and not only that, they don't even remember the meeting that you had. Now that leads me very nicely onto the second psychologist, who is called Obziakina. Now, Maria Obziakina, if I could even say the word, her research was very similar to Zeigarnik's. Now, with her participants, what she wanted to do was she set them a project, set them a task, and halfway through that task, the participants were told to stop. Put down everything you were working on, because now Obziakina gave them a new task to perform, i.e. leaving the first one alone. What she then found was utterly amazing. Even without liking for the first task, even without being given permission to complete the first task, the vast majority of participants had a strong desire to go back and complete the first task, even without permission, before they moved on to the second one. How amazing is that? And I'm sure you're exactly the same as me. We've all started something and then we've walked away. We've got interrupted or we've just got bored with it. But there's that nagging feeling in there. There's that nagging feeling that you've left something incomplete. There's a nagging feeling that you've got to get back to it. This is the strong desire that Obziakina recognised, and it's now become known as the Obziakina effect. We are going to use this to get your prospects to contact you. So what can we change? Well, you can change the price, you can change what equipment you provide, You can change the time frame. In fact, that's down to you. You can change so many different things. You can change legislation, you can change T's and C's, you can change the term of the agreement. But the fact is, you have to change something. Because why? Well, we need that what the prospects feel is complete to now be incomplete and to create a desire in them to want to finish it. So you've got something now that you can change in respect to your original proposal. If so, great. So now I'm going to put this into a different context. I'm going to put it into the context of your bank. So when I say your bank, just replace it with the name of your bank. And I want you to think about, you've just finished work, you're sat in your car and you've looked at your mobile phone and you realise that you've got a voicemail. So you ring the number and you listen to the voicemail, and the voicemail says this: "Good afternoon, Gary. This is Dave giving you a call from your bank. Gary, could you give me a call as soon as you possibly can, please? There's been some recent activity on your account and I do need to discuss this with you. Thanks ever so much. Goodbye." What? Would you give them a call? Well, 95% of you, I'm guess you're sat there and you're watching this thinking, absolutely I would. Because why? Because there's a sense of curiosity, for sure. You're scared, you're worried, and there's a thought, because of the message and the tonality of the message, that something is wrong. Of course you're going to give that person a call, particularly in today's age where there's fraudulent behaviour. What if it was from your mobile phone company and you've read a message and it says, "Good afternoon, Gary. This is Dave from your mobile phone provider. Could you give me a call as soon as you possibly can, please? There's been some recent activity on your bill I do need to discuss with you. Thanks ever so much. Goodbye." Again, I'm pretty certain that the vast majority of people, unless you owe them money, would give them a call, because it sounds like what? Like something's wrong. You're a little bit worried, you're a little bit skeptical, and you're hugely curious. So how can we utilize this and those same sort of emotions with your prospects? Okay, so this works with emails, it works with voicemail, and it works with text messaging as well. What if the people that you are chasing, the prospects you're chasing, what if you were to send them a message, an email or voicemail that went something like this? "Good afternoon, Gary. This is Dave from ABC Limited. Gary, could you give me a call as soon as you possibly can, please? There's been some recent changes in respect to your proposal and I do need to discuss the implications of these changes with you. Thanks, goodbye." Couple of things about those messaging, whether you're doing it in written form, whether you're doing it on text messaging, or whether you're leaving a voicemail. Have you noticed the tonality? Could you give me a call ASAP? Creates urgency. There have been some changes and I do need to discuss the implications of these changes with you. That's where we set the curiosity and a little bit of worry, actually. But there's something more to this as well. You said something's changed and you do need to discuss the changes with you. So in effect, if the prospect wanted to make a decision, guess what? They can't. They can't make a decision about something that's changed. The proposal that you gave them originally is no longer valid. What they can say yes to is a proposal that you're able to provide them once they've given you a call back. So you've left a message suggesting to the prospect that something's changed and they need to give you a call ASAP. So quite naturally, they think it's going to be bad and detrimental to them, not in their favour. So they give you a ring. "Hi there, Gary. Yep, I've got your message. What's changed?" Bearing in mind they're expecting something to be quite negative. Your change has to be in the client's or prospect's favour. So the price needs to have come down. The term needs to have been shortened. The more kit has been added to the original proposal. It has to surprise them and it has to be in their favour. And what I'm just about to ask you to do now, if you have been in sales for any period of time, or you're well schooled in traditional sales techniques, you're going to hate it. Absolutely hate it. Promise. What I'm going to suggest is that once you've told them that yes, thanks for giving me a call back. The reason I wanted to discuss with you is that the prices have changed since we last spoke, and now it's X amount of pounds cheaper than when we originally spoke. I just wanted to let you know, thanks ever so much, goodbye. I know what you're thinking. What do you mean, thanks ever so much, goodbye? Why are you not asking them for a decision since you've given them a price discount? That is the most important part of this whole strategy. You cannot ask for a decision. I need to explain why. A lot of theory in this one. Have you ever heard of the law of reciprocity? This is one of the fundamental laws of persuasion. The law of reciprocity states that if you give someone something of perceived value, it induces a desire in that person to want to give you something in exchange. Okay, so in its simplest format, have you ever walked down a corridor with a colleague or a friend, and there's a set of double doors? What do? You grab the door and you say, after you. You walk down to the corridor, further down the corridor, there's another set of doors. What do they do now? Well, of course, they get the door for you after you. If we went out for a drink and I was buying people a beer, a wine or whatever, if I did that 1, 2, 3 times, that would induce a desire in many of you, other than the cheapskates. It would produce a desire in you to want to repay me by getting me a drink in exchange. See what I mean? So the law of reciprocity states that if you give someone something of perceived value, you induce a desire in that person to want to give you something in exchange. What have you just given them? You've given them a piece of positive news that's in their favour, making them better off and making your proposal more desirable. You then have to say, thanks ever so much, I'll leave that with you, goodbye, and let reciprocity induce. You need to trust me on this, you need to try it. And when you do try it and it is successful, comment below, please. Because by you giving them good news, it induces reciprocity, and then in a period of time, normally within about 48 hours, that will create enough reciprocity for them to pick up the phone. And what are they going to give you in exchange? Absolutely the order. So, quite a long video today. However, there's a lot of information there. It's a fantastic strategy. Give it a go, because if you are picking up the phone to the same prospect 12 weeks in a row, every single Monday, forget it. You're not going to get them. So, this is what we need to do. As an overview, firstly, you need to change the original offer. Because what Zeigarnik and Obsiakina noticed was that when things are incomplete, we have a desire for completion. When a prospect feels that they've got all the information, they now revert to their time frame, not yours, and in fact, they don't even need you. When they give you a call back, you need to give them something of good nature, something favourable, something that they are going to benefit from. And then you have to say, here's your surprise, here's the price discount. However, I'm going to leave it with you. Thanks ever so much. Goodbye. And let reciprocity take hold. Let the feeling of the induced desire to want to give you something in exchange, and what they give you in exchange is the order. Now, to finish this point, for those of you that adore your partners, you love them to bits, imagine this. You walk out today and you think, do you know what? I absolutely adore this person. And you notice there's a florist. So you walk in and you buy them a big bunch of flowers with their favourite flowers in. Amazing. Just because you love them. And no, this is not because you've done anything wrong. You're not trying to make up with them and you're not feeling guilty. This is just a random act of love. So you walk up to your front door, you put your key in, you open your door, and you greet this person with their favourite bunch of flowers. What do they say? Amazing. Other than the fact, what did you do? But in most cases, oh my God, they're amazing. I love you. Thank you so much. Big hug, big kiss. Why? You've given them something that they desire and they see as valuable to them, but you've asked for nothing in exchange. However, by not asking for anything in exchange, we now know that reciprocity will induce. That means that later on tonight, you might get something in exchange for the big bunch of flowers that you presented your partner, whether male or female? You know what I'm talking about? Cool. Okay, so let's imagine something different. Let's imagine that you've walked out of work. You think, do you know what? I've not shown my partner that I love them for ages. So you find a florist and you go and buy them a big bunch of flowers with their favourite flowers in. You get to your door, put the key in, you open the door, and you present them with this lovely bunch of flowers, and they just melt in front of you. They love you, they adore you. Thanks ever so much. You're such a kind person. And then you say to them, "Can we have sex later now then?" No, and you can take those flowers back and you'll probably get them thrown at you. Isn't that the same as saying, "Here's the price discount, Mr. Customer. However, can I have the order in exchange?" It feels like a bribe. We're not in the game of bribery. This is selling influence and persuasion. Let the influence and persuasion manifest. Let it work and trust that it works. So, that's the end of this video. I know it's been a long one. There's a lot of theory in there. You've met two psychologists. You've met the law of reciprocity, and you've also learned how not to give someone a bunch of flowers and ask for something in exchange. It simply doesn't work. So what are you waiting for? You've got a prospect list there. You know who you've been chasing. Get on the phone. Leave them a voicemail. Send them an email or send them a text message. Let's get them contacting you. And when it works, I want you to tell me about it. Comment below. This is a great strategy. I hope you benefit from it hugely. And if you love this video, watch the others, subscribe to the channel down below, like this video, and please share amongst your family, friends and colleagues. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.